Hey there, it is Coach Candace. I am truly excited. Just wanted to come into your inbox once again because you guys have questions and I want to answer your questions. And so, first of all, if you are happen to be watching this video and receiving this video, and this is one of your first experiences with me, let me introduce myself. My name is Candace B. Woods. I deem myself the mindset architect, and I have the absolute pleasure of being assigned and called in this season to help to develop what I call destinypreneurs, women and men of God who are called to the marketplace. And I want to help you design, plan, and develop a compelling vision for your life and business. And so I'm excited because one of the ways that I get to do this is to help to develop authors, kingdom authors, Christian authors, those who believe that God has given you a story that you want to share with the masses. But most specifically, those of you who have been given a story that and you feel that God is calling you to the marketplace so that you can share your story, but also lead others to Christ as well, and make a greater impact in the world and in your circle and in your community, whatever the case may be. I want to help you get there. And so many of you have a book inside of you. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this video. So I want to take an opportunity just to answer some of your questions. Now, I know many of you are on the fence right now about the BIY Writers Lab, and I want to do everything that I can possibly do to help to answer your questions so that you can make an informed decision. And so I recently got a question. As a matter of fact, it was someone who scheduled a clarity call with me, and one of her questions or concerns was, how much is this self-publishing process really going to cost me, right? And so I know many of you are wondering that, and I don't think that I have really answered that question specifically. So I want to stop for a moment, and I want to do that right here and right now, just to share with you a little bit and give you a little bit more insight into the budget. How much is this self-publishing process going to cost you? How much of this are you going to have to come up with up front? And then how much of this could you potentially come up with later in the process? Now, I'm going to get back to that particular statement a little bit later because, well, let me go ahead and say this because I want you guys to know that for me, when I started my business, when I started writing my book, there has not been a time, a moment throughout this business process, throughout this journey, where God gave me a vision that He did not provide for. God never gave me an idea that He did not give me strategy for, that He did not, intentionally put people in my path who needed what I have. And so that's honestly how the Writers Lab even came about. It was a God idea that I just kind of stumbled upon years ago when I first started my business. I had a full-time job at the time, so it wasn't something that I was eager to do at that particular point. I think I've shared with you guys, and maybe in the workshop, when I first shared this process with someone other than myself, it was with my girlfriend who happened to be an accountability partner in business, who wanted to write a book. And I said, hey, let me just tell you what I did. And they encouraged me, both my accountability partners, shout out to Tanika and Donna. They encouraged me to actually take and to write this process out and to systemize it. And I did that. You guys, the Writers Lab, the book inside of you, self-publishing process has been on the shelf for the past, I would say 3-4 years. And so I helped Donna with her book the first time around, recorded the process, I put it on the shelf. Here it is, years later. We're going through a pandemic, and God put it on my heart that this was the time to launch this program. And I reached out to a couple of people in business, whether it was coaching clients that I'd had before who had shared with me that they wanted to write a book, and accountability partners and people that I've been on this journey with for a little while. I shared with them. I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Are you interested? And they all responded and said, yes. God put it on my heart that this was the time, this was the season for me to give birth to this book. And that's when the Writers Lab was developed. And so I simply just started the program, and I took them through the process. And I had 5 of roughly 10 ladies to actually finish their book in 6 months or less. And I have others who are still in the Writers Lab. They're still giving birth to their book. And they are determined that 2021 is the year for them for their book to manifest. So that being said, this wasn't something that just kind of came about. This was something that God had given me a while back, but in God's timing, it just became the right time to do it. So I want you to be encouraged, because I want you to know and understand this. God is never going to give you a vision that he is not going to fully fund and provide for. Okay. So ease your nerves. Just know that this particular process, it can be a very feasible process. And yes, you're going to have to do a lot of the work, but you won't have to do all of the work. And I wanted to make sure that this process was simplified so that you could know the how to and wouldn't have to invest a whole lot of time and energy into figuring it out. I've already done it. I've already figured out the process for you, and I'm going to give you that process. Okay. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen really quickly. And I want you to um, want you to see this for yourself. And if you're like me, you're a visual person. And so you need something, you need a visual. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Hopefully you can see this little whiteboard here. Now let's talk about the self-publishing budget. Okay. Let's talk about this a little bit, because I think that is going to be important for you to understand. Let me correct that. Okay. For you to understand what you can expect. Okay. Now, I know you're looking at that estimate, and many of you have already put your eyes at the very bottom of that list. And you're saying, oh my goodness, this is going to cost me anywhere between $800 and $1,200 to self-publish this book. How on earth am I going to do that? Again, I just got out of my mouth. I just said that God is never going to give you a vision that he's not going to provide for. So know and understand that. But know this too, that there is a way for you to actually write your book and actually sell your book before it's even published. Okay. So let me go ahead and put that out there. How do I know? I know because I just had roughly 5 ladies to do it. Okay. And so I want you to ease your mind, but I want you to make an informed decision. Okay. So let's look at the top of the list. The first thing that you're going to have to make an investment in, or first part of your investment, is going to be the Writers Lab. Okay. So off the cuff, if you want coaching, if you need help, if you want to invest into my program so that you can have accountability, so that you can have a simplified process, so that you don't have to figure out how to do this and how to get this done in 6 months or less. If you want to know how to strategies that you can utilize to sell and market your book, if you want to know and understand how you're going to use your book in other endeavors after the book is done, then you want to invest in the Writers Lab. Okay. Because there's so many parts and components that is so important for you to know and understand through this process. And a lot of times, if you don't have the mindset of an entrepreneur, then you're going to struggle with this. Okay. And so this is part of the process. The Writers Lab helps to develop that entrepreneurial mindset. And I'm going to give you tips, tools, and strategies on how you can effectively write and develop your vision and then market and sell your book and get a return on your investment. You will get a return on your investment even before the program is done if you follow my 5-step process, okay? And so that's the first investment. So you're gonna start out anywhere between $500 and $800 off the cuff. Okay. Now, the reason why I put that estimate at the bottom that says $800, that may simply mean that you may not even choose to invest into the program, but there's still other parts of this that you can do to self-publish your book on your own. And you can do it if you follow my 5-step process that I shared with you in the workshop. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put that link down at the bottom so that you can have access to the replay of that if you need to go back and watch that 5-step process. Okay, because it can be done on your own if you follow the process and if you want to do majority of the work. Okay. Okay, and so the next part is going to be your book cover. Now, most people would normally think that having a graphic design for your book cover is going to be very costly, and generally it is. However, I have access to resources that can help you get your book cover done in a very reasonable price. And so the ladies from my Writers Lab, their range for their book cover was anywhere between $25 and $75. When I wrote my book the first time, I spent $25 for my first book cover, and it was beautiful in my opinion. Okay, and it was very eye-catching. I got a lot of compliments off my book cover. Okay, so again, if you want to invest in the Writers Lab, if you want to have access to specific freelance designers who can design your book at that cost. Now, I've already given you my link to Fiverr.com, which is where I got my book cover done, which is where all the other ladies got their book covers done. And this is the thing. We have it is kind of hit or miss. Okay, you can go in and you can try to find someone to do it yourself, or you can utilize graphic designers that we've used, that we know their work, we know that it's going to be well, we know that they're easy to work with, and it's always good to have recommendations or referrals to designers. And so that's something that you can get specifically in the Writers Lab. But again, you can go on Fiverr, you can look up a graphic designer, and you can have your own book cover design yourself, and it can cost you roughly between $25 to $75. The next thing that you're going to need that's going to be an expense is your IBN number and your barcode. Okay, and so I have a site. I've shared it with you in the implementation guide for the workshop, and there is a site that you can go on and you can purchase your ISBN number and your barcode for $55, and that's just the fee for self-publishing. Okay, now that covers copyright. What you want is you want to make sure that nobody else can get credit for your book. That's why it's important for you to get an ISBN number and a barcode. Okay. Now, editing and proofreading. Now, why did I put zero between $0 and $300? Well, I put between $0 and $300 simply because you can edit and proofread your book yourself. If you were very knowledgeable, if you have a degree in English or journalism and writing and reading is your thing, go for it. And I just encourage you to just take some time, edit and proofread and format your book yourself. However, if you want someone else to do it, you can find someone else to do it, and it's going to range between $0 to $300 to have someone to edit, proofread, and format your book. Now, that's just a range. Okay, I have had people to have it done way less than $300. And I have heard of others investing a little bit more. But again, the resources that I have available for you, that I can refer you to, they're not going to charge you $300 to do it. And so, but I just want to give you an idea of how much it can cost. And that is just for a book that is 100 pages or less. Okay. Now, when I mean by 100 pages, I mean by book pages. Okay. So when you think of a book, when you think of a book, it can be it can be 100 pages or less. Okay, I'm not talking about 100 uh word processing or Microsoft Word pages. Okay, those pages are generally cut in half, so each page that you might type in Microsoft Word is going to be considered 2 pages, okay, in a book. Okay, don't want to get too much into that, but want to kind of give you an idea or a visual. Okay, so again, editing and proofreading can go anywhere between $0 to $300. I did my own editing and proofreading, so when I did my first book, I did not, it didn't cost me anything. Okay, I did my own editing and proofreading. I do not recommend that for everybody, but again, I do have resources, and I have services that I connect with and collaborate with, who are very reasonable and who will make sure that your editing and proofreading and formatting is done professionally. Okay, and then finally, the actually book publishing and printing. Now, one of the questions is printing and publishing the same thing? Okay. Now, this is the thing. To self-publish your book means that you're going to actually contact a printing company who's going to print the book for you. Okay, and they would actually be considered the a publishing company, but not in the sense of having the backing of a company, okay, or a publishing company. Okay, so when I say self-publishing, that means that you're going to hire a printer and you're going to get a printing company to print your book yourself, and is you're going to do the process of getting the book cover design. You're going to send them the manuscript, and they're going to actually print the book for you and send it to you. And then there's also distribution. Some companies also have other distribution plans as well. Okay, again, these are things we talk about in the Writers Lab. I can't give it all in one video, but I do want to just give you some insight so that you can be aware. Okay, so the estimate for the self-publishing process, which includes the Writer's Lab, it includes your cover design, your ISBN number and code, editing and proofreading, and printing the books and getting the books in hand. And this is for 75 to 125 books. Okay, then this will be anywhere between $800 to $1,200. Okay, now this is the thing that I want you to be that I want you to know and understand. Okay, and so I want to be real. I want to be honest with you that yes, anytime that you are trying to produce something in business, you're going to have to make an initial investment. Okay, you're going to have to do it. I mean, that's part of anything. Anything worth having, you're going to have to make a reasonable investment into. So I want you to make an informed decision, but I want you to know and understand this: after you make your initial investment of $497 or $797 with me, you are going to have some other upfront cost. Okay, in this process. So that means that you're going to have upfront costs in getting your book cover designed. You're going to have to produce the upfront cost for the ISBN number, and you're going to have to produce the cost for the editing, proofreading, and formatting. Okay, so that should automatically, I want you to automatically go ahead and put that in the forefront of your mind, that there's going to be an upfront cost. So you're going to have to make an investment, but you can get a return on your investment even before you send the book out. Okay, and I want to give your heart some peace, because I want you to know and understand that every single one of the ladies from the Writers Lab who wrote their book and self-published their book, all of them received a return of an investment before they actually got the book in the hands of others. And how they did that was through marketing, sales and marketing strategies that I taught them, and through one big word: pre-orders. Pre-orders. Okay. This is how they did it. I had one particular client who sold um, roughly 15, I think maybe 20. No, I take that back. Roughly 50 books before she even got the books in hand. I'll say that again. 50 books, okay? 50 books before she actually got the book in hand, okay? Now, her book is $20, right? $20 per book. She sold 50 books in pre-orders. So that means she made $1,000, right? Therefore, getting a full return of her investment for coaching and also shipping, the cover, and everything else. Okay. And she's still selling books. I have a client who in one day, sold 80 copies of her book. 80 copies of her book in one day. Now, she didn't do it in pre-orders. However, using a strategy that she learned in coaching, she was able to get a return on her investment, almost a triple return of her investment in roughly 24 hours. I said that to say it's not me. It's not anything that I did that was so great or so grand, because there are many coaches out there who are doing what I do and probably could potentially do it better. But I just know that in God's timing, and if it's truly a vision that He's giving you, you don't have to worry about the vision manifesting. God will send you the right people at the right time. So I want you to be confident in that. Now I want you to know and understand that if you truly believe that God has called you to the marketplace, that there's a book inside of you that you are supposed to birth in this season, then I want you to know and believe and trust that if you move forward in coaching with me, and you believe that God is assigning me to you in this season to help you do this, then I assure you, your investment won't return void. Your time won't return void. God will use your pain for purpose, and He will establish your platform, and He will make sure that the vision is fully funded. All right. So I want you to be encouraged. I hope that this answers your question. I hope this gives you a little bit more peace so that you can make an informed decision. And I want to remind you that the Writers Lab is still open. Enrollment will end on I think January 28th. Let me make sure that I got that date correct, because it's the last Monday or Sunday of the month. Okay. No, I'm sorry. That is January 24th. January 24th. That is when open enrollment will end. And the reason why I wanted to do it just before the end of January is because 6 months will be here before you know it. And so I want us to go ahead, get into the Writers Lab so that we can go ahead and start writing. Now, if you decide that you don't want to join the Writers Lab, this is not the right time for you. There'll be other open enrollments. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. But I do want you to go ahead and take some time to write. Invest the time to write. Set time in the morning or when you have some quiet time. Continue to stay here and watch my videos, because I'm going to give you tips and tools, strategies that you can use so that you can develop writing time, so that you can get in the habit, so that you can become intentional about your time and writing, so that you can get a clear vision. I want to help you do that. I'm not going to stop doing that just because right now may not be the time for you to make an investment. And so I'm going to continue to be here. I'm going to continue to show up and help you and encourage you. If you decide that you want to be a part of the Writers Lab, I still have roughly 10 slots available. However, they may fill up very soon because I have roughly about 4 or 5 others who've reached out to me to say, hey, I'm going to make my investment soon. So I want you to go ahead and make your investment. If this is what you want to do, don't wait. Don't hesitate. Go ahead, enroll. Let's get you going. Let's get you going in coaching. Again, there are 2 options. I mentioned them before, but I'll mention them again. The regular group coaching program is where you will be a part of group coaching, which will be every second Wednesday of the month. And we will meet together and we're going to talk about your vision. We're going to talk about your book cover, and I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to have you setting deadlines, and I'm going to have you setting goals, and we're going to work together to make sure that this book manifests in June of 2021. Yes, I said it, June of 2021, if not sooner than that, because many of you could potentially get it done way before that. And then and so you're going to have access to an online platform. It's called Coursecraft, but you're going to have access to an online platform. You're going to enroll into that particular platform, and you're going to have content that I've already have there waiting on you to start in engaging in and watching. Okay, now I only put so much in the online platform and videos for you to watch, simply because I don't want you to just go ahead and consume everything. I want this to be a pace to this. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and I want you to enroll. As soon as you enroll, you'll get as soon as you make your investment, you'll get the enrollment link. You'll be able to go in, watch the content, download the tools that are there waiting for you. There's an outline, there's a checklist, there is I have designated writing times where we will just sit together and write and plan. And then you have group sessions. Okay. And so that is the first investment. That's $497, or you can make 3 payments of $197. And that is not exact. Those payments does have a small, a payment processing fee, simply because I get charged every time you make a payment. And so therefore there is a processing fee just for offering a payment plan. Okay. And then there is the VIP. Now, the VIP is VIP for a reason, simply because that is where we're going to really dive deeply. And this is for those of you who know that God is calling you to a greater vision, a greater to entrepreneurship. You know that you want to use your book just as a primary product or a business card, if you will, and you want to do something more. Maybe you want to be a speaker, maybe you want to be a coach. This would be VIP would be really good for you, simply because I not only talk about how to get your book done, but then I also talk about other business strategies. We talk about branding, a little bit of branding, so that you can begin to think about your business platform and how you actually want to use your book. After I write my book, then what, right? So we get into the then what of that, and we actually do some one-on-one coaching. Those coaching sessions are going to run anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes per session, and we really dive deeply into the business of becoming an author, speaker, consultant, coach, etc. Okay, and so that's that. 2 ways. That's VIP is $797, or you can make an investment of you can do 3 payments of $297. Again, there is a small processing fee that comes with that payment plan. Okay, all right. That's that. I hope that this was helpful. Hopefully that I answered your questions. If you have other questions, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, maybe you feel like the Writers Lab is a little bit more than what you need, because maybe you've already gotten pretty far in your process and you just need some help with the self-publishing or some accountability, reach out to me. Let's schedule a clarity call. I'll be happy to meet with you to assess what your needs are and see how I can help you to accomplish your goal of becoming a self-published author in 2021. All right. God bless you. God keep you. I will see you guys next time. And I hope to see you in the writer's lab. Okay. See ya. Bye bye.